Hey guys, how you doing? This is Rick Perron here, and we have Mike McCreel behind the camera right now, taking a shot. What we have over here is the Jupiter 2 from the original Lost in Space, and this is actually a refit that Mike has worked on for George Day. Hey George, how's it going? And basically what we've done, well, I haven't done, but Mike did, is to put a brand new dome on top. So actually I like it a lot better compared to the original. Added a window on top over here, as you can see. And I also love this paint job that Mike has done. It makes it look weathered. It really looks like a metallic ship. And people don't realize, just make this really quick, the Jupiter 2 is actually the second version of the ship, because the first one was in the original pilot called No Place to Hide, and of course the Reluctant Stowaway, which brought on the robot and Dr. Smith. And the original one had a larger window up front, and it was kind of clumsy looking. So now we have the Jupiter 2, which is a heck of a lot better than the original ship. And it's what we know of today as hardcore fans. This is the classic flying saucer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pass it over to Michael, and he's going to go over certain things about the ship that he's worked on, okay?
Hi guys, it's Mike, and here we are. Rick and I are going to talk about Lost in Space. Now, of course, Rick's a bigger fan about the show than I am. I'm more of a Star Trek guy and Star Wars, but Planet of the Giants. But I still enjoy working on the flying saucers like the Invaders, but George has asked me to do a refit on his model that was already built by somebody else, but there were a lot of little issues with it that he wanted repaired. So basically I'll just flip this up like this now, and you can see the bottom I added more of a brushed look to the legs, and we added some lights in a triangle pattern right underneath the chaser at the bottom, and they blink, and George can control that with a little clicker, a little remote. He can change the rate of speed on these red blinking lights, so long or short or whatever. Now the hard part was trying to get all the wires to be hidden and all come out, and you can see there's quite a few. So now he doesn't have to open up the whole saucer and work his controller unit for his strobe lights and chaser lights and interior lights. He can control it all from the base. So that's what we're going to show you today. We're going to hook all these little plug-ins to the base, and as you can see, George, each one of these little plug-ins are green, and they're color-coded orange. So you've got to make sure that they go in the appropriate holes, and you'll see that. But they're all nicely hidden, and as you can see, it's hard to get that if you can get that, Rick. Just a little straw coming down, and I had to put it on the back leg so you wouldn't see, and then I tried to feather it in as nice as I could to hide all these wires. So that's basically it. Like very well built ship by another model builder. I don't know who it was. George didn't tell me, but it was well done. But it just had some electronic issues, and the paint job wasn't very good. So I'll pull this off later. But what I did is I added some lights to the control station in the helm here with a little red blinking light, and just illuminated that. And also increased the light in the inside by bringing it up from 3.5 to 4.5 volts. So added a little. So now those LEDs inside will be a little brighter. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to move over to the base that I made for George. This is the whole reason why I got this ship in the first place, because he wanted me to make a base for it. And Rick's panning over to that now, and as you can see, this is his base. It's quite big, and frankly, I hope it's not going to be a nightmare for shipping, but it's going to be specially packed UPS. Now what George did, he sent me these little rocks, and there were only 2, but I wanted to get some other rocks as well. So I was at a friend of mine's, and I was having a bonfire with him one night, and I saw this rock on the ground, and I picked it up, and it was this coolest little rock. So what I did is I cast the rock, I made 2 of them, and I put the 2 rocks here, George, and I added 2 little lights that you can actually turn, and so they're like little spotlights. So when you turn on the power for it, you can see it light up. And that's your main power. And this is just for show, these blinking lights here. And as you can see, the Alpha Control emblem, I thought I'd put that special for you on there. And I even had it lit. That's kind of cool. And that's your main sound. That's a sound, that's a sound. And then I also put glowing buttons on the sides, on the starboard end and the port side of your base here, controller, the green and the blue, with sounds as well. Let's hear one. The green and the blue are sounds. So I wanted to do something special for George and make an illuminated button instead of having these 3. This is your main engine sound, and but some of these sounds here, let's say, I guess that's a goofy Dr. Smith sound, or that he's working some control.
Sounds like it.
With a robot or something. I don't know. I just tossed it in there for George. But that's a short sound. So some of the nicer sounds are on this side, but they'll run too long, so I'm not going to do that right now. Now, this here, George, there's little plastic that's covering these knobs to keep them from getting scratched, so you'll have to pick that off later. And they look a little rough because they've got paint and dust, but you just have to pick off that plastic and pull it off, and it will be nice, pristine, clean chrome wheels. So this guy is the speed control for the chaser of the ship, and then this is a dimmer. As you can see, the lights, they're starting to illuminate. See? Here's the underside of the controls. You can see there's quite a bit of wiring there, and they're labeled to what they do. So this just is a little cover that just covers it. And here's your battery power. Gives you clean power with no distortion, no whining, and backfeed and stuff. I find that using batteries is a little better, but it doesn't power the sound. It just initially sends the signal over to the 4.5 inverter here to power that sound. That goes into the speakers, and then that's a 9-volt. That's for the chaser. You can see there's only one thing plugged into it, and right up in here. And then there's all your 12-volt power items, and basically the smoke generator, and then George's controller for his blinking red lights, and then basically the hub for all the wires. So each of these wires, you see, George. Okay, George, you see those blinking lights? All 3 are blinking. A while ago there was just 2 blinking. That's because you got to make sure that the plugs are plugged in nice and tight. I think that one that it doesn't plug in very tight, that you got to find the right sweet spot. I think it's the plugs for this light. So you got to make sure they're tight, and then they'll work. And then here's your throw the switch for your chaser, and then you can control the speed right from here. That's what Rick likes.
I do.
See now how slow it's going now? As you bring it all the way down to 0, and then you can go to 1, 2, 3. Now you can actually get an idea on what speed you got it set at. That's full blast, and that's 10, of course. And you can play with it, of course, when you hear the engines. Now that's a custom sound too, eh? Usually after burners went on, I made it go in space mode.
I like that. I really do.
Yeah, switch here.
I do like the addition of the 3 lights there. This adds to it.
Now George, one of those in there.
Yeah,
Controls
looks good.
right there, George. And then yours these get controlled by that clicker. I'll bring that over now. And there's your interior. And of course I got right inside there, you got a new window, and I actually even got some kind of a blinking light in there somewhere. I got it somewhere there, I forget, but it blinks inside there. Now you can actually, I think you can see it now. Now I'll shoot it later for you. So that's the smoke, that one on the end, and that's your main power. And that's your chaser, and that's your blinking lights, and that's your interior, and of course your footlights. And then you have these here don't have a switch. The switch is right into the dimmer, so it has its own switch, so you didn't have to switch it. Just turn it on and turn them on. And of course on the bottom of this thing, you can pull this off. You can see there's a little screw, so you got to make sure, and this is on there like that, you set it. If it comes off like it just did, you have to tighten that screw up. So you turn it all the way down and then set it in 0 position, and then tighten the screw up really tight. Alright? interior that I lit for you. So I put the green lights into the control station and put one blinking red light there. So I guess the scanners are glowing green now for you. And you can see it there. So it kind of adds a little bit to it. Didn't take much to do it. Rick seems to like the chaser, eh, Rick?
I do. I think it's really nice effect on it.
I like the mirror on there, eh?
I do. Well, this way here you don't have to keep looking down all the time. It's right there. You can see it.
Yeah.
Or underneath, I should say. Yeah.
And then the new dome looks decent. I think the other one looked pretty well the same, but this thicker glass.
Yeah. I like it.
There you go, George. Smoke's up. Smoke is going. Everything's going. Happy, happy, happy. I'm happy. Just make sure you put about, a couple drops in there, but I'll see you later. Goodbye. And that's it. Well, there you go, George. Make this short but sweet. There's your controller for your little red blinking lights. You can change the mode and the speed. So, Rick and I'll say goodbye. And this is your Jupiter 2 plaque signing off. Goodbye.
See you, George.
Who knows what dreadful creatures inhabit the reaches of this galaxy?